Welcome back to Wokeland,
Yes.
everybody. We are the Simones.
Absolutely.
I'm Anayo.
I'm Elsa.
You know what it is.
You know the vibes.
Today we have a very special episode, as we always do. Every one of our episodes is like special.
Very special.
Because they only
Especially
come
this new
out.
season
Yes.
with the cameras on.
With the cameras on. You see
Yeah,
us.
you see us.
And they only come out once a month, so it's like a treat. It's like
yeah.
a gift to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anyway, as you can see, we have two special guests here.
Yes.
Bebe, Jared, Humble Losers Podcast.
Yes.
What's good, y'all? How you doing?
Feeling great.
Super honored to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. You are fellow podcasters of ours. You are our brothers, and we are super, super fortunate to have you guys here today to talk about a very important topic in our community. Yes. A very pervasive, what do we call this thing?
It's provocative.
Disease.
Yeah.
This disease.
It's a disease, I would say.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah. Let me get my dictionary. Look up pervasive.
It's this disease that permeates.
It's
our-
permeating over
It's this disease that
got a
permeates. It permeates our community so much. It's such a layered conversation.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think all of us have experienced it. Like, all of us have some sort of experience with this topic.
For sure.
Definitely.
In one way or another. So we're talking about colorism.
Ooh.
Which-
Elephant in the room.
Yeah, the elephant in the room. It's actually like a topic that obviously we can't really cover in just one episode. Like, this is a deep topic. And so we're actually going to have another part to this episode where we bring on women to talk about their experiences with colorism.
Dope.
But today we're talking to the men, the fellas,
Right.
about skin tone and colorism in the Black community.
Ooh.
Louis.
And it's going to get deep.
It is.
And it's going to be juicy. Okay. And we gonna get into it. It's gonna be real. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All that.
So yes.
And it's fitting because it's Black History Month. We're still
Yeah.
in February.
Right.
Black Future Month.
Black Future Month.
Shout out
Straight
to
up.
Kanye. Yes.
Okay. It's Black Future Month. And so, and Black Joy Parade is today. So we're hoping that while this is a conversation that saddens our community, that
Yeah.
holds our community back, you know, that there can be some understanding that comes out of this. There can be some kind of education that comes out of this, so we can really live our Black joyous lives.
Yes.
So
So we gonna hop into
let's
it.
get into some things.
Dive in.
Man,
First of all,
my heart is beating.
Bebe and Jared,
Yes.
would you identify yourselves in any sort of way in terms of like your skin tone? Do you guys prescribe to like certain skin tones when you describe yourself?
You want to go first? You want to
Me personally, no. I've honestly, and I think that that's kind of like a trauma response to being categorized, and I get it from my mom, being categorized as light skinned. It's like a stigma that you don't want to be attached to. So I find myself most of the time just saying like I wouldn't call myself light skinned. I wouldn't call myself dark skinned. I'm Black. You see me, I'm a Black man.
Okay.
And that's for so many different reasons.
I feel it.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
The long side.
I too. I don't really like using the term dark skinned. I do identify as a heavily melanated individual.
Okay.
But I don't like using, like he said, it's like a trauma response. And whenever people say it, and after hearing it so long, it sounds bad. Like you dark skinned it, and it sounds like it's
So
like a
much
trauma.
connotation to it.
Yeah.
It's like negative. It sounds negative whenever it isn't. It's like, okay, I'm just melanated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was there a moment for y'all, like, while growing up when you first, I guess, someone told you that you were maybe dark skinned or light skinned, or even like called you, like another Black person kind of identified you by your skin tone? Like, do you guys have
Yeah.
memories of when that first started?
Oh my God. I'm trying to think back to the earliest time it's happened. I can't say that another Black person said it, because I mean, obviously a lot of people in my family look just like me. But my younger years, I actually did not go. I went to elementary school in a predominantly white elementary school, so it was like, y'all don't look like me, like, and I knew like, hey, yeah, and I was like one of the only. I think in my second grade class, I might have been the only black person, like girl or boy. Like I was the only one, and so I knew from a very young age, like, hey, I'm black.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the emphasis was more on you being black and that being the center of your difference.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I experienced like somebody like colorism, like a real deal colorism until probably like middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and where it was like, oh my God, I hate this story. But there was this young lady that I was attracted to. I was probably about like 7th or 8th grade. And she flat out said, I don't date dark-skinned black dudes.
Oh.
Yeah, she told me. And I was like, I was heartbroken.
Was she light-skinned?
Yeah, she was light-skinned.
She said, wait.
She said, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was heartbroken. I was low-key heartbroken.
Sure.
Not little telling me that she don't take dark-skinned dudes.
Wow.
Damn.
But yeah, that happened.
Okay.
Probably about the same for me. I think that, through like elementary and stuff, it just didn't. You're not as perceptive to things. Maybe if I was to dive back in, I could pick something out. But I guess my earliest memory of realizing that people saw me as a lighter shade was in middle school, when like from my friends, from fellow black people, would literally that different names about being, oh, you're yellow, or you're, we're not gonna get into that.
They called you Yellow Bone.
Yeah, you were Yellow Bone. I didn't go to school in Atlanta. Hey,
right. Oh my
Not
God. Right.
But no, like all that, just the way you were referred to, way I was referred to at that point, as people are coming more into themselves and, getting a little bit more of an identity, that's when it started dawning on me that I was perceived as a different, like a lighter shade. I never looked at myself and said, oh, I'm lighter. Like I still don't even look, but I do understand that people will sometimes see me and be like, yeah, I've had people call me out. And I did a show and the DJ was like, me and my cousins were on stage. Like, oh, we got some yellow boys here.
Oh wow.
Okay.
All
right.
Outside check. Okay. But so probably middle school. Yeah.
How do you think then? I mean, it's one thing to go through that experience in like elementary, like we all know what it feels like to be othered and to be called the N-word on those elementary streets, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Elementary streets.
There's some badass elementary school kids.
Fighting for your life in elementary school.
Like literally. We were fighting for our lives in elementary school.
That was a politics.
Being called the N, I remember being called the N-word in class, like in 3rd grade.
Oh no.
By a guy that I thought was my friend.
Oh, that's awful.
Man.
And I was like, wait, what? What happened? What happened to us?
Right.
All good just a week ago.
Right. All good just a week ago. But how do you think those experiences stayed with you and evolved with you over time as an adult?
Oh, I got this one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Okay. So I'm not even gonna front. Like that middle school incident, it definitely shaped me to the point where I was like, I'm not even gonna try to talk to a girl that was lighter than me. Yeah. Like oh my God. Even now, whenever I look back at all the women that I have dated, they've all been I don't want to use the word dark, but melanated women. Heavy melanated women. I hate that word dark because look at dark in the dictionary. That it's just like negative.
Yeah. Oh, it's ties behind that.
I think actually after talking about it, I just now in my adult life gotten to the point where it's like I can date somebody that is lighter than me, and I don't need to hold on to that situation anymore. So it does shape you way into adulthood
from middle school.
Yeah,
and you just now are like getting over that.
Wow. It like damn
for
near
sure.
like this year.
Oh shit! Like last month.
Such a big...
I mean, I was no, not like last month.
We like to see the healing though.
Oh yeah, we love it.
It was
right?
It was like because that young lady said that. I don't know the bear with me. I'm not hella educated.
That's fine.
But I don't know the words to say, but basically that shaped me, and I now gave that opinion that she shared, that I looked at all light-skinned women or non-melanated women or lightly melanated women. Because when you hear dark and light, it's like good and evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I didn't.
No, that's
binary.
exactly
That's why I
that.
don't like
that
using
binary.
those kind of different. Like
I
he
feel
said,
it.
we're black. Okay, a lighter black woman, lighter skinned black woman. I would now look like, oh well, she probably doesn't like dark skinned dudes, just
Yeah.
like
They gave you a complex.
little
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
They gave you
it
a
was something
complex.
that I had to
Just one
subconsciously.
comment, wow.
Yeah, it's something that I had to subconsciously get over, and you have to think in middle school, your self-esteem is so fragile.
It's super, yeah. It's
So
literally getting
fragile.
molded.
so
Yeah.
fragile.
Exactly.
You're like, damn, you whipped up the courage enough to go holler at little shorty that you actually liked,
Right.
and she just shoots you down like
Instantly.
No,
There's nothing you can
That's
do.
terrible.
Man, it wasn't.
Right.
It
That's
wasn't
gonna
like,
make you
It wasn't
violent.
like,
That's
oh, I'm
gonna
just gonna
stick with
rock
you.
them down easy. Like,
Yeah.
nah, you're just not my type. No, it's like, I don't date dark skinned dudes. I think they ugly. Wow. You know?
And you know the funny
Oh.
thing is, she probably heard that from like
Somebody,
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
her
she
family,
heard
sure.
it.
and, like,
Yeah,
just
she for
repeated
surely
it.
heard
Yeah.
it from
Those
an adult.
probably weren't her opinions. Yeah,
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
regurgitating it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's something I didn't think of as a little
Of
12-year-old,
course,
13-year-old. I'm thinking about that.
Stuff lives with you.
Yeah,
just
it does.
all
Wow.
into adulthood.
Oh yeah.
We're in the 30s mark, and
Yeah.
you're just now able to actually look at that and be like, what the like
Yeah,
that's
not all
that's where
people
it
think like
started.
that.
Yeah.
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 I think that I had the biggest way that I was affected by that was like, so there's this whole thing about being black. It's like full of these tropes and all these stereotypes and all these things that come along with it. And with the negative, there are some positives that sometimes people like to be aligned with the strength, the athleticism, the just the potency of being black. As scary as it is, there are some things that people obviously envy. And when you're called light skin, it's almost like it's nothing's more visible than your covering. Being called light skin kind of made me feel like I was being called less black. And
Interesting.
it honestly, it kind of developed this thing in my psyche where it's like I'm trying to combat that appearance of being less black. Like, don't see me as less than a black person. Don't think that I'm less strong. Don't think that I'm less, don't think I'm not one of the I'm not one of the cool ones. In fact, I'll be the worst one just to show you that I'm not one of the cool ones, you know, and that and it for sure that gave me a whole complex where it's like I felt like I was on the outside of both ends of the spectrum. You're never going to be light skinned enough to be looked at as anything other than black by people that aren't black.
Right.
But if you're light skinned, people that see you that way that are black, they're kind of pushing you out of the circle too.
Right.
So it's like you feel like you're in this weird dual consciousness middle ground where it's like, I don't know, what am I supposed to be?
Exactly.
So yeah, no, that for sure gave me a lasting complex, things that I still deal with even in this conversation. You see, I've literally struggled with calling myself light skinned, and it's for that reason, because it's like I don't want to adorn that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, for some people that's like I've been congratulated almost for having lighter skin. Fuck that. I don't want that. I don't want that,
especially all the pain that is
Yes.
associated and that has come out of, right, people who are light skinned and just the social construction that came out of slavery and all of that.
You're a house inward.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Off
You're a
top.
house inward.
Off
Yeah.
top. Like, right. So yeah, no, that's been something to live with. And yeah, that was something that was created at a very young age, you know, in middle school is my first memory of it. And yeah, it stuck with me.
Yeah. What are some of the I guess what are some of the stereotypes that you guys have dealt with or people have based on your skin tone said like, hey, you are this skin tone, so you must be this. Like, have you guys heard any of the stereotypes like directed at you?
Yeah,
Oh,
for
tell
sure.
them.
Yeah, we're interested to hear how that also may differ from like black women.
Yeah.
So what is that from a black male perspective?
You want to go first?
Being light skinned,
Yeah.
being light skinned off top, like being light skinned for a dude, it's literally, it's such a, it's like a categorization. Like it's so much. It's like an adjective in itself. Like you're acting light skinned. Like being light skinned, you're just automatically seen as like inherently soft or sensitive. And I ain't lying, I'm a sensitive dude. But it's like
There's
that's
nothing
not
wrong with that.
coincidence.
Nothing wrong.
And
Right? It has nothing to do with this. That is all coincidence.
Right.
And I think on the flip side, whenever you're
Just say it. Just do it.
if you're
Y'all don't gotta be political.
whenever you're dark skinned, like I think one of the stereotypes is the opposite of that. Like you're
Yeah.
supposed to be tough. Whenever you're not tough and you start acting sensitive or something like that, then you're acting light skinned.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you
Right.
acting light
Exactly.
skinned. Why you acting light skinned?
Right.
I feel like, especially like growing up, I feel like dark skinned men were like fetishized. Like we got the fetish.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Still,
I think
still.
the stereotypes that come with being a dark skinned man is like, he's like strong and masculine
that
and
big-
yeah.
Like
He's
elephant
like
in the room.
He's
That man
he's like the
Yeah.
old school beast of burden type
Yeah.
of thing from back in the slave days. Like
yeah.
like I remember like growing up in like middle school and stuff like, and maybe even your brother can attest to this, like people coming up to you trying to recruit you for sports and shit.
Yeah.
That shit was weird as fuck. Like
Just
some
off the
older white man just like looking at you like, look at that
Right.
boy.
Look at your body.
Look at his mile speed. Like you can run a mile in like 12 minutes. It's like
cattle.
ooh. Yeah,
Right.
that's
Exactly.
sick. It's sick, and I didn't realize until I got older. Like we really thought that was special. Like we would sit there like, oh yeah, I'm super athletic. I'm super this, da da da, and somebody's acknowledging those attributes, but really they're like looking at you like you're a piece of freaking meat.
Yeah,
This is
Right.
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
It's
think
so-
black men, darks or highly.
You can say we already done
I
moved
think for the
past
purposes
it.
of
We moved past it. We're gonna say dark skin.
All right, for the
black
purposes
men.
of this episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that darker skinned black men have to deal with the objectification
Yeah.
of their bodies far more
Oh,
than lighter skinned
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
men. I mean, and that's visible in our media, our
Yeah.
sports, our entertainers.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's so interesting because we were talking about this the other day on how it's the complete opposite for black women.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
On the flip side, like obviously light-skinned women get more fetishized.
Yes,
And then
definitely.
dark-skinned women, it's like, you know, you must be like masculine and
Yeah.
strong and not
Yeah.
feminine and not womanly. So it's the complete opposite, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
it's the same colorism, I think, that like emasculates light-skinned men and makes them more feminine or
Yeah.
sensitive or soft is the same kind of colorism that makes like darker skinned black women
Yeah, it's just, like,
masculine,
inverted.
violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And-
such a weird, disgusting thing.
It's
Yeah.
like
It is.
even working in the medical field, and we had to learn about this. Is like they really dealt with something where it's like, okay, dark skinned black women, they can take more pain.
Yeah. Yeah. Your
and
pain
a
tolerance.
woman literally lost her life because
Yeah,
she
so
was
many
complaining, during her childbirth that like, hey, I'm feeling this, something's wrong with me, and the nurse was like, no, you're good, you can take
You
it.
can
You're just
take
taking
it.
a little bit more. And
Yeah,
it's like
an animal.
whoa,
I'm
no,
literally
I
telling
can't.
you about
Yeah,
my pain.
yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
Serena Williams almost died.
Yeah, it's
What?
the same thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very same thing.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
you're 100% correct. It's like the same things that are like fetishized on the other side, or like looked at as like, oh, I don't want to deal with her because she's masculine, or
Yeah.
all because of colorism.
Yeah.
And it's propagated heavily by us.
Us, oh yeah.
Like we're the.
I'm glad you said that.
It
I'm
is.
glad you said that because a lot of men be acting like this is coming out of nowhere. And
Right.
I'm like,
No.
Right.
You've been under the rock.
Right.
You really think it is coming out?
Yeah,
It's been,
and let's maybe touch on that a little bit. And I think you guys did earlier in the conversation, but how much do people in your close friends, family, peers, maybe even coworkers, like how much of that impacts or like penetrates your life? the comments that you get growing up about your skin color? I'm sure a lot of it you heard in your own home, your own household, or your cousins, your close friends, kids on the playground. So how much, I guess, has your like nucleus, family and friends impacted the way you look at yourself?
I think, luckily, I mean, I'm pretty sure your mom and my mom probably could be like best friends because they're low key hippies. I mean, and that probably speaks to the time of when they, of their upbringing. But I would have to say, like, just a generation older than that, like the grandparents and like my grandma. She kind of perpetuated some of that stuff, and I say now, as a father who has one light-skinned child and one dark-skinned child, like the compliments, and I be having to check them, like, hey, no, don't say, oh yeah, you're gonna be like they'll compliment my lighter son. They'll say like, oh you're gonna be a lady killer, and the girls are gonna go crazy for you, and then just leave my other son out in the cold. And I'd be like, hey, they are both beautiful, like and just checking those type of comments that you would hear, because a lot of people have that old way of thinking that they'll think like light is right and dark skinned or darker skinned people are bad, and that's something that you have to check. Being a person who's like educated, you have to check that from the older generation and tell them, hey, you can't perpetuate that. And even like, from like their like some of their it's not even their uncles, it's like their granddad's friends or whatever. He'll say some stuff like the same thing, whereas like my younger son, if he's being sensitive or he's crying or he's this, is like, oh, you acting like you acting light skinned, or you acting like and it's like those are the type of things that you just have to correct actively.
Yeah.
Agree.
Nip it in the bud.
Agree.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know. I can't really say how my core is especially affected by being specifically light skinned. I think all of our cores are affected by being black.
I feel like it happened more so. It was like more so in my adult life.
Yeah.
And I definitely remember having conversations with friends, like my ex, who is a dark-skinned woman. Like I would be like, okay, this is my wife, and I would show her off, and like, and they'd be like, oh, you like them dark skins, and I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean?
Is that?
Yeah, like what the fuck does that mean?
That's a dog green color,
and I'd be
like,
like what? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, what the fuck do you mean?
Is that?
First of all, that's my wife,
right?
First and foremost.
I will say, I've experienced a similar thing, like because. My daughter's mom, she's dark skinned, and whenever anyone would inquire as to who I was with, they always assumed I was with someone that wasn't black. Off top, you look like you date Asian.
Oh my god, I hate that.
I look like that's a look. What does that look like?
That.
And then,
well, I'm gonna just say this. It's not necessarily from me. It's not necessarily your skin tone.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a different conversation.
Yeah, this is not colorism no more.
in the Bay Area, black men in particular, you have to ask like. Do you date black women or not? That's another conversation.
Right, no, for sure.
But I can see how maybe for you.
And when you do reveal who you're with, like, because my ex, she was a dark skinned woman, and it was like almost like a disappointment thing, I missed the mark. I could do so much better or something,
or she was not beautiful enough.
That was
wild, like
because you weren't upholding the light skin supremacy.
Exactly.
It said you weren't adhering to like European beauty standards. Like, okay, what you found beautiful in a woman was not what the society or what that person thought was supposed to be beautiful. Or what we think was beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely. I've experienced that as well.
I definitely. I had a couple times like, I got to the point I was damn near about to fight. Like,
Hold up.
And y'all kind of touched on this earlier a little bit, but like let's talk about how black men uphold this, and black women do too. But since we're talking to you guys,
right? Since we're talking to you,
we
don't apply that.
We'll ask the same question in the next one.
We're about to just spill the beans on all these dudes.
But like,
we got to be honest.
I guess like where like you're in your group of friends and you're all talking about the girls that you're dating, you're talking to, you're messing with, whatever, and you're showing each other, and like some are dark skinned, some are light skinned. Like if it's coming up of like, oh, okay, she's dark skinned, like bruh, why are you dealing with that? Like, do you guys feel the pressure to kind of like in that moment maybe just say like, oh, I'm not really da-da-da, or do you guys hold your friends accountable? Like how does it work within the black friend group, the black male friend group?
I'll for sure hold my friends accountable, definitely. But I will say that just from what I've observed, it would be way less likely that a black man would be showing off a dark-skinned woman in that circle. Because in those circles, it's generally, from what I've seen, it's generally like light skin is heavily praised. We hear it in our music and everything.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was about to say.
Right.
It's just,
you want to rap to the song
yeah,
in real life.
right?
And have
It's like
the
closer they are to white, it's like, oh, you're doing real good. And you see,
yeah.
I hate to go off on a tangent, but
You see that you preached it. Go ahead and preach.
When black men get the ability to like athletes and celebrities and people that have the ability to probably pick from a plethora of women, they generally lean to, everyone. I think every one of Nick Cannon's kids is like, not trying to call
He go to bury brother Nick.
Right.
Nick about to come for me.
Starting a colony child.
Biracial
colony.
Just for an example, that's someone who's had multiple children with multiple women, and all of them have that skin tone
aesthetic,
in common, that same aesthetic. Yeah. So it's like that's propagated by black men, because it's like, we for sure, when we can choose. Now, a black man that, is down and out and maybe don't have all the options.
Oh, Jesus.
They can't be picky. Beggars can't be choosers. No. But I'm going to be real. Once black men get, and there's exceptions to everything. I'm just speaking broadly.
Of course.
Once black men get the ability, them lighter hues are gonna get more of
play.
They're gonna get more play for sure.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, even if both ends are getting the same amount of play, the lighter ones are gonna get the more exposed play.
And when he get on, he leave you.
Yeah.
Or a white girl or a light skinned girl.
Oh my
God.
Right.
Come back.
The way he is living out that whole song right now.
He prophesized his own demise. So we gonna move on, but that's I'm glad you know.
I know.
I mean, I don't really have any pushback on that, other than, I mean, it's right. It's kind of right where it's like, okay, black men, they get certain amount of means, they start looking at the lighter hues, and they look at maybe white women or lighter skinned women as a status symbol, because that's what society upheld. And going back to the original question, would you hold your friends accountable? Yes, 100%. Because it sounds ignorant. And I mean, the conversation I had probably was back when I was like 20 something. And I was like, and it was with a coworker. And then sometimes you have to recognize some people are just ignorant. Ignorant as AF. I'm trying not to cuss over here.
You can cuss all of them.
Okay. Well, they're just ignorant. They're
I was
just
about to say,
ignorant.
whoa, I slipped a few out.
I was
They're
they're just ignorant as fuck. And like, there's family members and stuff like that I'll talk to. And I'm like, you just know that they didn't have the same upbringing as you. They didn't have the same type of education. But yes, you do have to check it and make it known, like, hey, you can't say that, or what you're perpetuating is that a woman that looks just like you, has the same skin tone, same everything, same hair, is not beautiful.
So
it's not beautiful.
That's so
and
maybe darker than
they're
talking shit about.
Right?
It's like the Kodak Black thing. When
I
it was like,
just thinking about Kodak.
yeah, it was like Kodak Black, and I was like, bro, but
that I actually watched that video again today.
Yeah.
It was so, and I hate to have empathy for him, but it was really heartbreaking to watch it.
See how bad he's been mind fucked.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
That's how I feel whenever I deal with certain with certain family members, because I know for a certain fact, like, okay, I don't want to say this because I feel I'm gonna bring a stereotype. the people on my mom's from Greensboro. My dad is Greensboro, North Carolina, and my dad's side is from Louisiana. And I'm not gonna say that sometimes some country people are a little bit behind, like that. Sometimes they'll keep stuff going that they've had like in the past. Like
They're
they're
from where
Yeah.
it started from the most.
So it's like I'm sitting here talking to one of my uncles, like, hey, like, oh, that girl over there, you know, like that's where the term red bone originated from. That's where the term Creole woman originated from, and that's what they would look at and be like, oh, that's beautiful, that's that, and it's like coming out here and being from out here is like, no, I had my experience where it's like they don't like me, so I'm gonna fuck with them. I'm gonna go where I'm celebrated and where the people look like me. Because I ain't never had that type of situation, and I think that is one of the positive things that's came out of my where the things that have negatively happened to me is like, no, you better rock with the ones that rock with you, and that's probably why I've had my track record of whom I've dated.
Yeah. And it's so interesting for you to talk about that. So let's talk about like your dating preferences.
Oh,
and
God.
You talked about your history a little bit. You know, to the extent that you're comfortable, of course.
No.
You've talked about like your healing process and everything, but you know, as Black women, your Black men's dating preferences are quite obvious.
They're very, very clear.
It's very clear
it's very
which
clear.
way things are trending.
Yeah.
And so, but you guys are our
publicized.
brothers, and we want to give you the platform to talk about your dating preferences.
Go ahead, Jay.
This is rather throw alley-oop. Put me out there. Nice. Personally, I growing up in a multicolored, not multinationality, but multicolored household, and just being exposed to, I feel like, you know, living in the Bay Area, we're kind of exposed to everything. It's just never truly mattered to me. I do acknowledge that certain things come with every, like, culturally, certain things come with whoever you date. I have no preferences or no type. It's like, oh, I prefer white women, I prefer Black women, I prefer it's
You about to get murdered in the
about to
studio.
he said wait
Say what now? What you say?
That's why you sitting close. That's why you sitting closest to the door.
Watch it now, Jared.
Right. We got you on 4K. So.
No deniability. Yeah, for me, I just acknowledge that, you know, people are people, and they come with, no matter if I date a Black woman, I know that in this country, the traumas that we have, I know that a lot can come with that. I know that if I date a white woman, I know a lot can come with what, you know, that culture is and how I even fit into that culture or don't fit into it. And same with every other nationality. So I won't say that I have a type. I don't have a type, but I do acknowledge that there's
You do acknowledge that there is a what? You acknowledge that there is a
This is
what?
a very safe space.
Bring up the Carfax.
It really
You can look at the past three.
We
What
want
have
to
they
hear
did?
it. Like, people want to hear this. So
The past
you
three, what have
acknowledge
they
there
been?
is.
Go ahead.
And I think your preamble leading up to your answer was pretty, you know, solid. So I think everyone will be fine with
gotta
whatever
pad
you say.
the
Past
landing.
three.
Yeah, exactly.
Put some pressure on them. What's the past three women that you've dated?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, past three.
Let's
What
go.
were their nationalities, ethnicities?
Ooh, BB sound like
BB said.
BB knows.
Right.
BB knows the facts.
Hey, are we good?
This like the humble loser.
It's
Right.
yeah.
We're getting into it.
Let's go. The last three.
Latina, Black.
You don't say it. You don't say it. You say it.
No, it's I was with my ex for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Black men don't cheat.
I'm not gonna put myself out there like that, but I'm gonna say like those are
Okay.
it's Latina, Black.
We kind of outliers, you think about it, because we both were married before.
We got with the person
from
really
high
young.
school. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't do a lot of the.
I did 10. I did 10. I served 10 years.
Served 10 years. Oh
See,
no!
now you just got him on the hot seat.
Don't do
and
that.
you
You got
put yourself-
incendiary.
What
Don't
you
do
mean,
that.
sir?
Oh no!
Damn.
Someone
10
get-
years on the
But
battlefield.
served 10. He said
On
he
the
did
front
14.
line.
Right.
Yeah, probably. Well, no, I'm probably around the same. If I put all the years together, probably like 12.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're dating
mine is
someone.
real easy because it's been black women, and like him, I was married for 10 years, and then I'd just been dating. Well, I wouldn't even call it dating, but I've been.
We gonna call it that.
I've been free from. No, I haven't. No,
Maybe it isn't dating. Who
No,
knows?
I haven't. No, I haven't been dating. I don't think we need to get into
Right,
that. But
That's a
my
different topic.
preference has been black women. I've dealt with black women.
Yeah.
since
Darker
then.
skinned black women.
No, actually, I've done. Oh my God,
Well,
that
he said,
sounds
"I've
terrible.
done." I've
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this isn't travel.
Yeah.
I've
South
accomplished.
No, it's not even a compliment. Because you know what?
I've seen.
Because no, I've just dealt with black women of lighter complexion, darker complexion, mid-range complexion.
Mid-range.
It doesn't.
Shout out to the mid-rangers out there.
Mid-range
Good old
complexion.
mid-ranges.
And I've dealt with black women that are not necessarily African American.
Yeah.
So that's what I was like. So it's been Nigerian. I think one lady, she was.
One lady.
What? Come on,
Hey,
calm down,
whoa.
sir. Calm down, sir.
There's a bigger issue here.
No.
Jared's doing the work for us, and I love it.
Right.
Okay. Well, one was, I guess we call it Afro-Latina. That's the new term.
That's the term.
That's the new
Okay.
term.
That's
She
the
was
term.
Afro-Latina.
Okay.
Big now.
Afro-Latina
Danny Lee.
X.
Okay.
Big now, yeah.
Right.
Not Danny Lee.
Danny Lay, boy. That
Danny Lee
is
said
she's black
light skin.
fishing.
He like,
Yeah.
what was that song she made?
I don't know.
Yellow
I don't
Bone.
even know.
Yellowbone.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
the-
yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yellow
Something.
bone. You're
Yeah.
not a.
And then
you
the baby
can't.
went and dogged her. Ooh, child.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Your light skinness won't save you.
Yep, it won't. It won't.
It will not save
It
you.
won't. It won't. Really
Child.
won't.
Is that not
Uh-oh.
to deviate, but is that like an exclusivity thing? Like you won't date women that aren't black?
Jesus, anybody got some?
You got hella water right there.
right.
So.
Look, I already told y'all about my. You know what? My grandma is Haitian, so it was definitely. Stop! I say. There was definitely. It was definitely. I'm gonna say this was definitely imprinted upon me.
Yeah.
At a very early age was you bet not bring other home.
Yeah.
Like, and that was crazy because I went to school with a whole bunch
with a
of
whole
white
bunch.
kids,
So it's like,
and
oh.
I never. It was like I can even remember it. Like now that you guys are taking me back, and I'm sitting in the damn therapist chair. Like anytime there was a black kid at my school, other than me, we were best friends.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, whenever I be seeing
Instantly.
they're like, oh, remember we were the only black kids at,
Right.
at Portola? I was like, yeah, I remember. We were literally gang.
Yeah.
So,
Ah.
so yeah, no, yeah, I think it's been ingrained with me. I had never tried.
See,
I'd never
You've never
tried.
tried
Never
it?
even
I
attempted.
never tried.
See,
Never.
My
Wow.
mom gave
Interesting.
me the one rule I had was she didn't care what nationality I dated. She said, you just can't bring home no old woman.
Oh.
Okay.
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 That's interesting.
She's
take.
not
Old women like older
like
than
some
you.
cougar.
Okay,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
she's not doing it
That's
like off
wrong.
top.
Yeah.
And I feel it. Like in my
Yeah.
later years, like, no, I get it. I get what you
Yeah.
didn't want to see your son getting like,
Wyatt
led and taken advantage.
You didn't want to be a
exploited.
Wyatt off of what's that, Ozark?
Yeah.
Y'all don't watch
Yeah.
Like,
Ozark.
I don't know
Damn.
it. I don't know
The
that
joke
one.
didn't even hit. You don't watch Ozark.
I haven't, man.
Oh man.
Sorry.
I haven't got on that yet. We'll
Oh,
get
my
there.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it now.
Yep. Be looking
Just
for Wyatt.
just for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Has there been like moments in your dating situationships, anything
Jesus.
where like stereotypes about your skin tone have brought on conflict. It's the best way to say it. Like, let's say you bring a girl over to the crib, you know, for some fun, and, you know, a stereotype is not being uplived.
I feel like you're getting that one certain stereotype. Far as like, okay, you're supposed to be blessed. I feel like you know what? I think I dispel this stereotype because I was told you promise less and you deliver more.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is a good. That is one of
So you
the
would
greatest.
use strategy.
Yeah, that is the greatest.
For sure.
That is the great. That's how you dispel disappointment though.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's how you dispel disappointment because I feel like I do not want that pressure hanging over my head.
Hell
Like
no.
you think I'm 5'9". What the hell do you think I'm like that? Half of my leg or something? Like that's not gonna happen.
The balance.
Right.
Like just tip over.
Think of physiology. You feel me? Think of biology. Like, come on now. Like, stop tripping. So I'd be like, I'm just normal size. Like, I'm just a normal guy.
I've never advertised myself as being
I hate
anything
that.
other than just an average person. Like,
Yeah.
I've never just because like you said, like let a person create their own.
The other thing I don't like, not to cut you off,
No,
but
you're-
is like, okay, you're dark skinned, you're supposed to be ultra masculine, and then they'll come to my house and I have candles or some shit like that. And like, I thought this is kind of,
be in here
this is
trapping.
kind of, yeah, this is kind of,
You gotta tell us about
Tell us about
her
it. Yeah.
story. Tell us
yeah,
about
that's kind of. They're like,
what
oh, that's kind of feminine. Or you'll say, you know, certain things like if you're like heavily into hygiene or taking care of yourself, or like you're sometimes you can seem self-absorbed,
right?
Back grooming, or it's like you seem self-absorbed. Like I was expecting like a tough guy. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And it's like. It's one of the things.
I can see how that could be.
Yeah, that gets on my nerves too. It's like, oh, he's kind of like not as masculine as I thought.
On the flip side, on the inverse,
Ooh,
Yeah,
I'll
you
say
get
that.
all those privileges.
I get, but it comes at a cost.
Got a
though,
beard
'cause
wave cap. And
I just like to take care of the ends.
Yeah.
Wait, you got a beard cap?
No,
Oh,
okay. I do not have that.
Okay. Hey, I've
gets
seen it.
to do facial routines and stuff like that.
I do.
Yes.
But there's an expectation because being a lighter skinned man, there's an expectation that, you know, you are that. And those aren't things that you're going to get called out for. But on the flip side, your masculinity is not as expected. It's not as,
It's
you
not
know,
threatening.
It's not It's not. Yeah. So it's like, you know, sometimes you might get put in a position where you gotta like, hey.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so you gotta show them you're tough.
You gotta assert that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like there's more of a pressure to assert yourself as a lighter skinned black man because people just like it was already a thing in history, and then you know Drake went off the rails
Drake
with
came
it.
on and
Yeah.
took y'all to the next level.
Yeah, and everybody is you just assume, and
Yeah.
like there's been instances where it's like no, I gotta assert myself, you know, like. Cause I'm a nice person. I'm not confrontational. I'm not, but because of that and because of this, I'm not afforded the privilege of just the benefit of the doubt. It's like, you're gonna take me there. You're gonna make me.
You have to go extra hard.
Gotta-
Sometimes you feel like you have to go extra hard than whenever you don't.
And I
than
look
a
at
normal person.
I look at my family and I say, man, my wildest cousins and stuff is always a light skin one because like they had to go extra hard.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about somebody. This dude I know. It's like, bro, like you took like being like a street dude to the next level. And I was like looking at him, and I was looking at like his sisters and stuff like that. It's like, damn, you was like totally different. And I wonder how much that stereotype played into it. Where it's like you had to like
all
push
the
a hard
different ways we're
line
socialized.
because maybe he was getting tested. Because I don't feel like I got hella tested because I was a dark skinned dude. Like I mean, there was times. Where it's like,
Well,
they'll try
for sure.
you and like,
For
oh,
sure.
you soft and and that was
sure.
only after like getting to know you. But I feel like a lot of light skinned dudes got tried because of the whole being light skinned thing.
Oh, hell
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yes.
actually, that leads me to my next question, maybe before we wrap, is how do you think, you know, being light skinned or being dark skinned has impacted your day-to-day relationships, your career, just your ability to navigate society. I'm sure it's impacted you both
For
by way of
sure.
being black men in different ways.
For sure.
But
I
love to hear the
find
difference.
I find that because I am a lighter skinned person, I had to like really open my eyes and notice the difference of how I'm regarded, like in my professional life, how I'm regarded in contrast to how coworkers that are darker than me are regarded. It's like I'm given a benefit of the doubt of being of professionalism at the base of it of humanity. Like it's more believable that I'm a decent, upstanding person than it is for other people. And I see how that has, it's like a bittersweet thing where like you hate to have opportunities come to you because of things like that. But I would be lying if I said I didn't see any opportunities that have come to me because of how approachable, I am. So, so definitely, yeah. In professional, I felt for sure. Like people are, they see you as one of the cool ones. And again, like I said before, I'm not your cool one. I'm not a cool one. No, I'm not. But I know that people have looked at me and been like, I can be a little bit more comfortable with this person because they look essentially like diluted black.
Yeah.
So. And that shit hurts.
Yeah.
I'm not diluted. I just did my ancestry. I'm like 80% African.
Okay.
So yeah,
So you
different
basically 100.
types. Yeah,
definitely.
right. So
Well, as a follow up to that, do you ever feel like guilt, knowing that maybe you're getting certain opportunities based on you being?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, like that, and like it would trip me out if any lighter skinned person or super light skinned person didn't have that inherent guilt, because you see it. You have to be blind to not see, like, people that you yourself can see a value in. You can see how other people don't see that, and they have to do way more to assert that value, whereas because you're this, you don't have to do as much. And then someone, it just goes up the ladder, someone who's lighter and someone who's not any no concentration of black has to do less and less and less and less. They're just given the benefit of the doubt of being a person of value. That shit makes you. I feel guilty about that all the time. I hate to see that. I hate to see people that they have to do so much more based on just that stereotype. So yeah.
I think for me, in a professional sense, it's more so having to dial back. Like I feel like I have to dial back my assertiveness. I have to dial back my tone. Like sometimes I feel like I'll be talking when I talk to some grown folks, and like especially women that are not black.
Yeah.
I damn near have to sound like Steve from Blue's Clues, like, hey, how are you doing? Oh no, so we're gonna do the like, for sure. Because whenever I talk normally and my shoulders is up and I'm talking with my hands, they're like, oh he was angry.
Yeah, for sure.
Like how many times that has happened to me, I just thought. And the cold part about it is, I'm sorry, but I feel like a lot of black people, whenever it benefits them, they'll perpetuate it.
Yeah.
They'll latch onto that, like, he was angry.
Yeah.
I was
for sure.
And I'm
for sure.
So for me, it's more so whenever I'm in professional spaces, whenever I'm around some certain people that are not black that I do not know, I'll dial it back and just be like, hey, it's a lot in white spaces for the simple fact that I feel like I have to be like, I'm one of the good ones, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to steal your purse, or I'm not
white
trying
flag
to.
waving.
Yeah, it's like, look at me. I'm just here, just trying to do my work, mind my business. I might be passionate about something, and I'll try to dial back my passion. And it's like having that thought in the back of your head, well, you have to speak you have to speak intelligently about the situation. Like it's like you're strategizing how you're going to talk about some of the simplest stuff. And that drives me crazy.
Yeah, that's real.
We've all been there.
I guess okay, well, we're coming to the end of the episode, unfortunately. This has been a great conversation. Is there anything else that you guys want to share or dispel or bring up in terms of colorism that you want people to know about? or want us to know about, or want you yourselves to know about?
You got this, Jay?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one because I mean it's a deep topic and we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Y'all hit a lot of points today. And I think if black folks and specifically more black men carried on like these two guys today, I think we would be in a better place.
We'd be in a way better place.
I'm encouraged. I'm actually really encouraged.
Okay, I'm blushing.
Why you act light skinned? No,
Look at BB.
no, I think it's but that's the truth that I hate to say it, that I think there's a lot of men, because I don't want to say all men, they buy into colorism, but we have to look at the kind of like the structure of it all. Like I feel like both of us are pretty educated guys, and whenever I look at some of the, like, I don't want to say normal or the regular black men, it's like the stuff that they ingest. Whether it's like from media or what they decide to educate themselves with, it's not like the normal stuff. Like a lot of people don't even decide to read, or the media that they ingest, they're talking about like power.
Or that's the first thing that came to my mind.
I know, because it's the most
new
popular.
episode of Power.
And I'm like, that is bull. It's terrible.
Why is it so easy to sell the image of a black drug dealer? Did you see
Yeah,
Power?
we're gonna
or
run.
Snowfall
We
or
gotta
BMF
cut it.
or-
We gotta cut because we're gonna run overtime.
Don't get me started.
Let's not go there. But noted.
But it's just like, I think it's more so guys that are around our age, or like on me as a father of two boys, is like letting them know, like even having the conversation about like telling them what is professional. Because my son cut his hair and it killed me, and I was like, you're
so
still
much
professional. I'm like, yeah, you're still professional with dreads or locks. You're still, to my youngest son, your hair is the way your hair comes out your head naturally is still beautiful. So it's like once you instill those things in the younger generation, I feel like, it's not helping you guys now because you're dating, or you're, I don't know if you're single or not, but you're dealing with the men of this generation now. But for the younger generation, it'll probably be a lot better, where they're knowing that, hey, I had a role model who was saying, no, love that girl, no matter her complexion, or just because she's darker than you does not mean that she's ugly, or just like that.
Those things that we grew up
and
Hearing,
with,
Unless
hearing.
YG is their father.
so we have to. Oh my God! So it's like letting it age out.
I got some, that to kind
No,
of
go ahead.
piggyback
No, it's on you.
on
It's
what
on you.
you're if I could take anything and kind of push it out there, it's just amongst black men, just black people in general, is to kind of, because of how oppression works and how all of these psychologies, it's designed to go internally and be propagated from the inside out, and there's not. You don't have, people riding on horses, Klansmen riding on horses through towns taking people up. It's different. Racism works different, and be aware of that. You look at your, people that are of your same. Don't separate yourself by age, by complexion, we're in the same boat. We are of the same thing. So, just being aware of how systems have been put into place to alter our thinking and how we deal with each other and how we socialize with one another. Be aware of that, and it'll definitely make you approach your brothers and sisters completely differently than the world would have you do it by design. So awareness.
Exactly.
Be aware of each other.
I think that's the best way to end this. Is that this was all by design, and we didn't dive into the historical context too much today, but we know what it is. We know the power dynamics. We know the binaries that exist that informs this disgusting social construction, and we need to leave that behind.
Exactly. So y'all want to give a shout out to your podcast, your socials,
yes.
where people can find you.
If you guys aren't already following Humble Loser Podcast, myself at King Season, KNGSZN, this young gentleman.
I'll take it. What's good, y'all? like you said, follow the podcast on Instagram and on YouTube at The Humble Loser
Yes.
Podcast. Make sure you put the "the" in front of it for us.
Yep.
Follow my personal page at BB Hendrix. That's BEBE Hendrix, just like Jimmy. Tap in with me.
Yes.
You know I've been doing this a long time. You see how
Yes.
smooth I did that?
Yeah.
Very much so.
It's like Jimmy, not like Future.
Right.
Yes, like-
Not like Future. Jesus Christ, not like Future.
You've been practicing that.
Tap in with them, and they're both artists in their
Yes.
own right. So be sure to follow up with our friends, and you know who we are.
Yes. Wokeland Podcast
Yes.
at Wokeland. You know what it is. And with that, stay
Stay woke.
woke.